Welcome back, video kit clubbers. This month we are going to be channeling our inner ballerina to create these adorable, simplistic, sweet, innocent cards using the glitter ribbon technique to create these wonderful roses, as well as stamping and embossing and coloring on vellum. Enjoy! So I'm going to start with my piece of vellum. So if you've never used vellum before, it is like a semi-transparent sheet. It's a really thin piece of paper, and it's really cool because it really gives a softer effect. So it really lightens and softens up a card look. So I'm going to take my ballet slipper stamp, and I'm going to use my Versamark so we can heat emboss this. And I am going to stamp it on my vellum like so. Give that a good push. And now I am going to take my white detail embossing powder and just go ahead and sprinkle. It's a little easier embossing on vellum than it is on acetate because it doesn't have that slick surface. So now I have my embossing powder on my vellum, and I'm going to go ahead and heat set. Now, one thing to be very careful is heat setting on embossing on vellum. It will bubble if you stay on it for too long. So you just want to do a quick touch, set your embossing powder, and then move on. Don't stay in one area for too long. So I'm just watching the embossing powder melt, and then I'm moving on. And that is our white detail embossing powder. So it's as easy as that. I just heat emboss that whole thing, and look how cool that looks. Now, with your embossing on vellum, you can do, with this kit comes the white detail embossing powder, but all of the cosmic embossing powders also look really, really pretty. So feel free to experiment and go crazy. So now we are going to color our ballet slippers. So these are not included in the kit, but I am going to simply use, it's nice, my Versa Magic, which are really fun. And I'm going to use this creative paintbrush here, our Q-tip, and I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to go over wherever I'm going to want a little darker shadowing detail. So I'm going to cover in the inside of the slipper. And you don't have to be all OCD and go crazy. Just apply a little bit of color. We are going to be blending this next with our white. So this is just to add a little bit of depth. Now, if you have a different preference for coloring in your stamps, feel free to do that. You can watercolor, you can use watercolor pencils, you can use markers. This was just an easy way I found to color in our ballet slippers. So I just added a little bit of my pink petunia, which is a really simple medium for embossing and doing this technique. And now I'm going to add some of my cloud white. So I'm just rubbing my Q-tip in, and then I'm just going to come in here in a circling motion and just go ahead and fill in the rest of my ballet slipper. And this looks transparent, but it actually is putting a white coating on top of the vellum. So go ahead and fill that all in. Once you have completed coloring, you have a very soft look to your ballet slippers. So I'm now going to set this aside, and I'm going to take my little seine and once again apply my little static free bag. I'm going to take the little seine. It's not about the shoes, it's about what you do in them, which is just adorable, and that comes with the Ballerina Slipper Stamp Set. And I am going to, I already lined it up on the grid work with my actual acrylic block. So just make sure you stamp that on there nice and straight. And now I'm going to take my little tweezer tool and my white detail embossing powder again. It's really fun. White is a very popular embossing powder color right now, and it's really fun to use in terms of black, so switching those two out. Now I'm going to heat set that guy. And then to finish up our words, I am just going to go ahead and take that same pink petunia, and I'm just going to do a little on both of the edges. I'm not going to go all the way around. I just want to add like a little shadowing on both of the edges. So now I'm going to set that aside with my ballet slippers. And next we are going to work on our really fun glitter ribbon technique. So I'm going to take a piece of my 1/2 inch, and you need about 6 inches of your 1/2 inch tape, and it looks like this, of our Tear-ific tape. And I'm going to add my brand new Ballerina glitter just by sprinkling it on one side. So this is double-sided permanent adhesive, but we are just going to be, for the beginning, you're covering up one side. Sprinkle that on, burnish that in. So now I've got one side completely covered with my Ballerina microfine glitter. And now to get the edge up, I am just kind of pulling that up because it's not stuck to anything. It's a little easier to take off. Now you don't want to pull the whole backing off because you want to have control. And you don't want it to go sticking to your coffee filter and everything else on your table. So just take a little bit off of your Tear-ific tape at a time. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick it into my Ballerina glitter. And you see I am pulling just a little bit of the backing off at a time so I have control over where the adhesive is going. If you were to pull that whole thing off, it's going to stick on itself, it's going to stick to the coffee filter. So just do a little bit at a time. And once you are done with that, you have your very own personalized glitter ribbon. So you can obviously use this, and you can make this with just about any color glitter that you have, and it's really fun with the microfines. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to add that 1/2 inch piece of tape again, and peel up the backing. And now I'm going to make my rose. And I learned this from our friends over at Mon Ami Gabby. They taught me how to make a ribbon flower. So thank you. So what I'm doing here is folding it over a little bit and then pushing it into the adhesive with my fingernail. So just fold it over and push it into the adhesive. And no two roses are going to look alike, so don't beat yourself up on trying to get it to be perfect. It's nature. Okay. So once you get to like your 3rd layer, I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors, which are here, and trim that. And then I'm going to push that down just like that, and I'm going to take this end here and make sure that is pushed into my last piece of tape. So now your little glitter ribbon flower is completed. So once you have finished your flower, you make about 3 of these for our card that we're doing here. And the Tear-ific tape I used is about 6 to 8 inches long, and that gives you a nice good sized little rose bud. Okay, so I am now going to just make little leaves like we did right here. And really simple, I'm going to cut out thin almond shapes. If you have a leaf die cut, you can use that. If you want to go ahead and use a green cardstock versus coloring them with ink, you can go ahead and do that. But this is a really simple way, and I really love the soft look it gives. So I just cut out a couple different almond shapes, and I'm going to go ahead and take my Spanish olive, the Versa Magic, and I am just going to just give it a little hint of color. So I am taking my fingernail and pushing down and just rubbing it on there. Just very simple. And now to attach your rose, I already went ahead and attached 2 of them, but to attach my 3rd rose, I'm just going to take a little strip of my Tear-ific tape, stick that on the back, peel up the backing with your fingernail, and then I'm going to add my little leaves, and then go ahead and stick that onto my card. And that is how you are going to attach all 3 of your roses, by using your roll of Tear-ific tape. So to assemble our card here, I am going to take my backing paper. If this is a little too busy for you and you would rather use a white background, you can do that. Or if you like the plain pink, you can do that. I really liked the look of the ballet slipper on the beautiful basic gray pattern paper. They have phenomenal paper. I love all their double-sided cardstocks. So I'm going to peel off my piece of Tear-ific tape. So I stuck a little strip of tape there. And these are the same size. So I'm just going to stick that right over, attach that. Now I rounded the corners here. You can use a border punch if you want the border along the bottom. I just recommend doing the 2 pages together. So I'm going to take my corner rounder, and I am going to go ahead and finish this guy off by rounding my corners. And then I am going to take my bubble gum, and this is cardstock from the Paper Cut, which is another phenomenal paper company. And I just have a strip of the Tear-ific tape up there, and I'm going to set him down and voila. And now you've got that nice and evenly placed. And then we are going to add this guy. Again, I'm going to round my corners, and I've got a couple different corner punches. This one's nice because you can go ahead and pick what kind of different size corner rounder you want. And I'm going to peel off my Tear-ific tape. Ignore my dog. Stick that on there. And then my seine. Voila, and there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and comment below if you have any questions. I love answering and reading all of your comments and questions. Thanks so much, and we will see you next month.